All right, second lesson here. So we have kind of a reminder up at the top. Excuse me. When we see like terms on the same side, we very simply simplify. Okay, so same side, simplify. Anytime I see like terms or numbers or anything on the same side of the equal sign, I know I should simplify. Do what I see. Okay, you might want to write that note up there. Do what you see. Okay, no opposites happening there. As a reminder from last unit, or last lesson, excuse me, opposite sides tell us we should do opposite operations. So if I see something on the same side of the equal sign, I simplify. If I do something on the opposite side of the equal sign, that's when I do my opposite operations. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples here. Let's look at 1 and 2 together. Okay, so on number 1, I see that I want to get x by itself. And first thing I always need to check are there any like terms on the same side of the equal sign? On the left side, I see that there is negative 2.5x and negative 13. Those are not like terms. I can't simplify with those because one has an x and one doesn't. Just a lonely 2 on the right-hand side, so I don't have any same side simplify to do on this problem. So I go ahead and start doing my opposites. So I want to kind of work furthest away from the x and move closer to it when I'm trying to get rid of stuff. So I'm going to start with this negative 13 at the back. Since the negative 13 is negative, I want to do an opposite operation. So I'm going to add 13 over to the right-hand side. I have 2.5x left. 2 plus 13 on the right is 15. Okay. And then remember 2.5x is multiplication. So I divide by 2.5 on both sides. And I end up with x equals 15 divided by 2.5 would be 6. So x equals 6. All right, let's look at number 2. Let's find our equal sign, okay, and check for same side simplify. On the left-hand side, I just have a number. On the right-hand side, I see that 9x and negative 6x both have x's, okay? So those are like terms. Those are on the same side of the equal sign. So since those like terms are on the same side of the equal sign, I just simplify, do what I see. So what do you see on the right-hand side? I see 9x minus 6x, so I just do that. 9x minus 6x would leave us with 3x, okay? The 15 just drops down as a plus 15 because it's not like terms with the others. It doesn't have an x. Okay, bring down my negative 12 on the left-hand side. And now I'm done with same side simplify, right? There are no more like terms on the left or right. So I'm going to go ahead and do my opposite operation. So I subtract 15. Okay, so negative 12 and negative 15 is negative 27. I have 3x. I just got rid of this stuff. 3x, as a reminder, is multiplication. So I divide by 3. And negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9 equals x. So I have x by itself, and that is done. Okay. Go ahead and do 3, 4, and 5. So pause the video, do 3, 4, and 5, and then you can start the video back up when you're ready for me. All right, so number 3, I draw my line down my equal sign. I don't see any same side simplifies, so I do my opposites. So subtract 3 from both sides. Negative 2n equals 6. Divide by negative 2. And n equals negative 3. Okay, number 4 on the right-hand side. Again, I don't see any like terms. So I'm going to add 11, do my opposite operations to go to opposite sides of the equal sign. So negative 21 plus 11 is negative 10. I'm left with my 1/2 c on the right, and those 11s are gone. All right, so let's see. So 1/2 c is 1/2 times c. So I want to do an opposite operation and divide by 1/2. Okay, so you can do this kind of one of two ways. If you want to do it mentally, remember dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, so I can multiply by 2. You could also very simply just do this on your calculator. So if you do negative 10 divided by 1/2, or you could always use 0.5, the decimal version. Negative 10 divided by 0.5 is negative 20 equals C. All right, and then on number 5, I put my line down my equal sign, and this time I do see some like terms. So I see this negative 2x and negative 10x. Those are on the same side, so I do what I see. Negative 2 minus 10 more would be negative 12x. I bring down my plus 12 because it doesn't have any like terms, and then 18 on the other side because it doesn't have any like terms. So now I'm done with same side simplify. To go across the equal sign, I do my opposite operations. So I subtract 12 from both sides. Negative 12x equals 6. Divide by negative 12. Be careful with this one. Realize the bigger number is on bottom, so this is not negative 2. It's actually negative 1/2, or if you did it on your calculator, it probably spits out negative 0.5, which is perfectly fine, or negative 0.5, okay? All right, so that's that section. Let's look at a couple problems where we throw some parentheses in. Okay, so if you remember, parentheses tell us to distribute, so that's the only thing that's different on these problems. The distribution is part of same side simplify, so that's why it's in this section. So let's always distribute first. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative x is negative 2x. I bring down my plus 3. And my equals negative 8. Okay? So at this point, think to yourself, do I have any like terms on the same side of the equal sign? And I certainly do. This regular 2 and regular 3 are like terms. So I'm going to bring this, So I'm going to go ahead and do what I see. So I see 2, and you got to be careful with the signs here. This negative goes with this 2x. So this is a positive 2 and a positive 3. So positive 2 and positive 3 make positive 5. I go ahead and bring down my negative 2x because it doesn't have a like term to hang out with. And I bring down my negative 8. And now you can see I don't have any more like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my opposite operations. So subtract 5. Negative 2x equals negative 13. Divide by negative 2. And I end up with x equals, that doesn't really come out. So you could leave it as 13 over 2, or what would that be, 6.5? Okay, so there's number 6. And number 7, start by distributing 4n. So 4 times n is 4n. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Bring down your negative 1. And bring down your 31 on the other side. So on the same side of the equal sign, I see negative 24 and negative 1. Those are like terms. So I'm going to bring that 4n out front, or down out front. Negative 24 minus 1 more is negative 25, right? I just do what I see since they're on the same side. And now that I need to go opposite sides of the equal sign, I need to do opposite operations. So I add 25. So I have 4n equals, would that be 56? Divide by 4. And I end up with, what would that be, 14, I think. So n equals 14. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video. Let me double check. Yeah. So go ahead and pause the video. Scroll down to the next page and try 8 through 11 together with you, or sorry, just on your own. And then when you're ready for me, you can go ahead and play the video for 8 through 11. Go ahead. All right, let's go ahead and look at 8 through 11 here. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly, so feel free to pause the video as you need to. So on the left-hand side, I need to distribute. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 1 is plus 3. Bring down your plus 6, and your equals negative 9. On the left-hand side, I have like terms of plus 3 and plus 6. So I bring down my 3x out front. Plus 3 and plus 6 makes plus 9. And I have a negative 9 on the other side. So opposite operations now. I'm done with same side. Now I'm doing opposites. So 3x equals negative 18. Divide by 3. And x equals negative 6. All right, number 9. Distribute my negative 2 in. So leave my 13 alone over here. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 4 is plus 8. Bring down your plus 3y. On the right-hand side, I see same side simplify with negative 2y and 3y. So I bring my 13 down. Negative 2y plus 3y leaves me with a single y. You can put 1 in front of it if you want. Bring your plus 8 down. And then I subtract 8 since I'm going opposite sides of the equal sign. 13 minus 8 leaves me with 5 for y. Okay. Number 10. Go ahead and distribute. So I get negative 8m minus 20. Bring down my negative 3m. And that equals 35 on the right. I need to combine like terms. Same side simplified. Negative 8 and negative 3 makes negative 11m. Bring down your minus 20 and your 35. Now I'm done with same side simplify, so I can go and do my opposite. So I add 20, and negative 11m equals 55. I divide by negative 11, and I end up with m equals negative 5. All right, number 11 is a doozy. I got 2 sets of parentheses. Okay, so let's distribute here. So 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times negative x is minus 5x. Then my second set of parentheses, 2 times 3 is plus 6. 2 times negative x is minus 2x. And that equals 14. Okay, so the left side here is a little complicated, right? I have one set of like terms with my regular 15 and regular 6. I have a second set of like terms with my negative 5x and negative 2x. Okay, so I'm just simplifying like I normally would. So 15 plus 6 more is 21. And then negative 5x and negative 2x combines to make negative 7x. So 21 minus 7x is what the left side simplified down to. I bring my 14 down. Now I'm done with same side simplify, and I'm ready to do my opposite operations. So remember, I pay attention to the sign in front of the number, not after it. So the 21 is positive. My opposite operation would be subtract 21. Keep that negative with the 7, so negative 7x. 14 minus 21 is negative 7 as well. So that makes my division pretty easy, right? Divide by negative 7. X equals negative 7 divided by negative 7 is a positive 1. All right, so hopefully you did okay on those. If not, remember you can always pause the video and ask some questions of myself in class. I know that's some tough stuff, so if you need some extra help on that, make sure you get it, okay? All right, let's go ahead and look at these couple word problems if you're ready. All right, so it says your school's drama club borrowed $400. Okay, so that's a borrow $400. It says they charge $4 per person, and they end up with a profit of $100 after paying back their loan. Okay, so then the question comes in. How many people, okay, so that's going to be my X, came to see the play, okay? So let's kind of process through this. Now we know what it's asking. We know what information it gave us. And now let's process here, okay? So remember, profit is not just money you're bringing in. Profit is how much money you have left over after you pay your expenses. So that's going to be my total. So I'm going to leave my 100 equals over here. Okay, and then I got to think about the two numbers they gave me. They gave me a borrowed $400 and charged $4 a person. Okay, so borrow $400. Is that money that they're making or money they're going to have to pay back? And I think we would agree borrowed $400 is money they're going to have to pay back. So that's going to be a negative on their account, right? Because they're eventually going to have to pay $400 in order to get to profit, right? And then the second number is $4 per person. $4 per person is the money they're bringing in. So we're going to add that number and $4 per person, and X is the number of people that are there. So again, the 400 is negative because this number, this 100 over here, is profit. And profit is how much money you bring in minus the money you owe somebody else or your expenses. This was expenses, so that's what I owe, so I'm taking it off. I'm subtracting off $400. This is money that they're bringing in from tickets, $4 times the number of people. So now let's go ahead and solve this. There's no same side simplified to do, but I can go ahead and do my opposite. So add $400. I get 500 equals 4x. I divide by that 4, and I end up with x equals 125. Okay, so then I have to think, okay, what does that really mean? And I look back up here, and I see x was the number of people. So I would say there was 125 people, which seems reasonable, right? If you got like negative 42, I'm probably not going to have a negative number of people. Or if I got 13.5, it's possible that you did your math right and you just need to go back and maybe round. But it's also possible if you get a decimal like that, if you might want to go back and kind of check your work a little bit. Okay. All right, so go ahead and try this last word problem here. So go ahead and pause the video, try that word problem, and then go ahead and play when you're ready for me. All right, so this last one here, we're doing landscaping. She gives you $50 to buy mulch and flowers. So that's money you're going to have to pay. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. Okay, so we have $50 to buy the mulch and flowers. So that's the total amount of money I have, right? Your mulch will cost $25. So your mulch is going to cost $25. Each flat of flowers is an additional $250. Okay, and then it asks. Sorry, I think I paused in the middle of that sentence. So I'll just repeat it here. So then we have the flat of flowers is $250, and then it asks me how many flats. So that's my question that's going to become my X. Okay. So how much can I purchase? Well, I know that I have $50 in my pocket, so that's my total, right? If I ever have a total, it's always going to end up being total equals everything else. So $50 in my pocket. And what do I have to buy with that $50? Well, I have to buy mulch, and mulch is just a flat fee of $25, right? Plus, I'm buying flats of flowers, and I don't know how many. I do know, though, each one is $2.50. So $2.50 times however many I'm buying, that's where my X goes, is going to be the money I spend on flowers. All right, so now I'm ready to do my opposite operations. I would subtract 25 from both sides and get 25 equals 2.50x. I divide by my 2.5, and I end up with x equals, would that be 100? Okay, so I'd be able to get 100 flats of flowers. Is that right? No, that's not right. 10. Sorry about that. 10 flats of flowers. Okay, so then I would say 10 flats. And if you don't know, a flat of flowers, they come in like a container that's kind of like a grid. And then they just put a flower in each one of the little holes. Just for a little bit of context, I guess I should have said that before it. So a flat of flowers, you get several flowers in a flat. But it's just to help when you're planting each one individually. Okay? All right, so now you're ready for your assignment.